Hi guys, John here. It's the Forex Fire. So it's Saturday morning around 10 a.m. And as I always do, I'm going to do an over-the-shoulder view on how I prepare my charts ready for the week ahead as we go after Sunday and into Monday and we create our zones, okay? These videos are always just how I prepare and what I do to make these zones and what I do to put them into our Discord, okay? To get the other side of the fence of the Discord, obviously you need to be a supporting member, but what I can show you is some of the results that has happened through the week and before we create these zones. So we're going to head into these right now and I'm just going to share you that. Okay, so in here you will see we've got our community chat, and above the community chat, this is where everybody can have a chat and what we do. Above this is the daily fire chat for those that have not or do not see what I do with this. I do constant daily videos in here. So it's like a read and watch only chat area where people can just see what I'm looking at, what I'm doing, and how I'm analyzing things, okay? And then we take everything that I've done and we can talk about it inside the community chat. It just means nothing gets lost within another chat system, okay? So if I just go to the fire zones, although we'll start with the fire sessions, okay? The fire sessions is a basic system, which is session-based stuff. The results this week, and I'm trying to automate this, to be fair, since March the 17th, and I'll show you exactly what numbers we've been bringing in on this. We've had a 2% winner through the week, 2%, 2%, so that's 6. We had a 1% loser, so that's 5, and then we had a 2% loser, so that's 7. So I come in here and I generally put in here, what time is it? And I'll see it. I'll do that. And then we've added these up and we know we had 7%. Okay, so I'll just put in 7. Fantastic week for the fire sessions, okay, which is why I'm now trying to self-automate this, okay. So with that being said, since March the 17th, we've only had 3 to 4 negative weeks, to be fair. We are now at what was it, 127 on the growth since March the 17th. So if we plus 7 on that, that takes this to 134. And that's the growth. And I've been documenting these every single week from when the trades are being taken. Okay. So with that being said, this here, 7% from this week, the total from March the 17th is now 134% growth. And again, everybody in our Discord has got full access to this area as I document them all. So this system is actually amazing, you know. So it brings a lot in. So that's just part of what we have. Okay. The other part is the higher time frame stuff, which is the fire zones. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the results on this. Excuse me. And this is before we start the new refresh. Okay, so what we've got is we've had a 1.5. So that's went to TP1, 1.5. And this trade here, I didn't physically get into this because it happened through the night when I was asleep. Okay, but what we do and the patterns that we search for, it still would have been a trade that we could have taken. So I will add these and document these because the pattern and the setups were there. So this is a 4.71 plus a 6.45 and plus a 7.78. So if you haven't noticed, what we do, we have liquidity areas. We work upon a 4-hour, a 1-hour, and 15-minute liquidity line, and then we get in on the 5-minute chart. Okay, So what we'll do is we'll go to the next. This one came in and it gave uh, plus a 1.5 plus a 2.18. Okay, and I'm going to be transparent, guys, as I always am. The USD card came in with a loser, okay, before it went on with a winner. So there was a -1 here. But the pattern that we searched for came in within the zone further up. So it gave a 4.73. It also gave to that line there, which was 6.51. Again, I missed this as well, but it's documented because it's within the trading system, plus a 6.51. Okay. Did we go to full target? Yes, we did. We went to the full target of the 4 hour. And 12.88. Okay, so again, and you don't have to get all these. I'm just giving you the conditions of just how much this stuff had gone to. Okay, so that was that there. Then the euro odd, this done a 2%. Euro odd, 2%. Okay, what's a 2%? And then let's have a look. 4.19. Did I do the 4.19? 4.19. 1.5218. That's a GBP. So I did the 1.5. I need the 218 and I need the 4.19. So plus 2.18 plus 4.19. So yeah, we didn't get all of these, but the potential was there for a humongous 55.61. Okay, and this isn't about catching the whole lot. It's it's about what was on offer. Okay, yes, you're not going to get them all, but even if you got a portion of this, you would have been very, very profitable. Okay, so with that being said, again, we normally get the zone alerts comes in here, so we get alerts and all that. So like I say, I'm doing this video because I put the video on YouTube. I also put it into the Discord, and then also it's giving people that are watching on YouTube a bit of an outlook on what I do. I don't show the entry system or how we enter on that. That is just disclosed for the people that are in the Discord, but it's just putting it out there so people can see what we do, okay? So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go into how I reset these zones. So there's a couple of things we do with this, okay? I'm just going to reset the whole thing on the CAD-JPY. So we remove everything. We go up to that 4 hour and we start to reset the alert lines and we'll look for our supply and demand areas, okay? And we'll talk through the liquidity. So we can see on here, okay, we've took that liquidity high from there, and the distance from this here up to that there's 100 odd pips. So I'm happy to try and at least do this section here as an area. Okay, so again, I have templates set. So when I come in, I just see, right, that's a bear zone, that's a 4 hour bear zone, and I generally knock that over to the right. So I'm just going to get rid of this. And if we look to the downside, okay, we can see clearly liquidity low up to the liquidity high, okay? If we measure where we are from here down to this area, it's a good 297 pips. I'm pretty happy with that distance, to be fair. So again, we're just going to move this, and we can see within that leg of the low to the high, we've got liquidity residing here. The draw on liquidity to the sell side is there's a fair value gap. And then obviously what you've got is an order block right down here. Okay, so we can work between that. So I'm going to see that this here would be my 4 hour bull zone. And that's how I set up my conditions and I frame the price. Okay, so I know as it's got the low to the high, I look for the draw on liquidity between both areas. I can clearly see there's one here. We've made highs, high lows, higher highs, high lows, higher highs, high lows, higher highs. We've swept the higher low, but now it's a bit of a fake out because we've swept just above this high here as well. Okay, so you're framing the price up and you understand and you're trying to trap it. Okay, so that's the first part. I'm just going to take an annotation of that because obviously we need to put it into the Discord for the fresh zone. And I'll show you how I do that in a minute. But first of all, we're going to go through another one or two of these. So again, we just reset the whole lot that went on through the week, including the alert. And we'll just look to see what's happening with price for this. Okay, so we can see we've been coming down through the liquidity here as we've driven through this area here. Okay, so we look to the left. If I just put the line onto here and understand what's been going on over this side. Okay, so yeah, we've driven below this little pullback here, and it looks like this is a major support and resistance. It's a pretty roundish number. Okay, so resistance, it broke through, it come down, resistance again, pulled up, broke down, support. So this is a pretty key level where it's at the moment. Okay, so again, I'm just going to get my measuring stick at the minute. Just going to go down to 150 pips or so. So I'm just going to get rid of that line there. And because it's been there once before, I'm happy to have that bottom bit there as my bull zone. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight that there. Now, where the price comes out to drive through here, okay, we can sort of look at the level breaking through there because we've been resistance, support, broke through, resistance, resistance, and then we drove down. So again, we'll get the measuring tool. We go up to this area, it's about nearly 184 pips. So I'm happy with that liquidity area just above and sort of use that there as a bit of an order block system because we can see here it's been heavily support and resistance. Okay, so we're trapping the price between these areas. And again, we'll just select that as our 4 hour bear zone. So you can see what we're doing. We're framing the price. We're causing traps of where we can expect price to come through. And then again, simple process, download the image. Okay, I'm going to go to the USD card. So we'll just reset everything on here and then we take a look at what has happened. Okay, we can see this from low to high is framed up. So I can understand we're making higher highs, higher lows. So what's the draw on liquidity that is going to be coming back down? We can see inside of here, we've got fair value, so we could technically bounce off that. We've also got this liquidity low here, and then the draw between that liquidity is some fair value here as well. Okay, so there is such a thing as called a violation setup. So if we end up with a violation of the supply and demand, there is a way that I get in on the trade on a losing trade, which is very, very consistent and successful. So with that being said, I'm going to move this down to this bit here. Okay, this will be my buy zone because we've got higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And then we've continued to break above this area. So we've got higher highs. Again, for the higher low, there's a draw on liquidity right here with a fair value. There's a draw on liquidity right here with fair value. But again, if we break through here, this is what I call the LP OTM, the last point of true mitigation, where we would expect a retracement and a bounce off and a continuation for that ultimate trend. Okay, simple things, guys. You just got to have your eye on the price and where you think these liquidity pools reside. Okay, so what we've got there to the downside, the last point of true mitigation, this I'd be setting as, like I say, the bull zone. We'll just set that up. And to the top end, again, we're just going to measure price from where we are up to here, 93 pips. Right, so I'm just going to clearly pick that top end. Okay, so I want to try and get a few trades in next week as well. So the supply and demand, this one here is going to be the bear zone. Okay, so we may get a trigger pretty quick this week on some of these. So this is the bear zone. And again, we take an annotation ready for when we're going to go to the next step, which is setting our alerts. We've then got our euro odd. And then again, we're just going to come in here at reset. Now, where's the draw on liquidity here? Well, we're looking at the high down to this low. Okay. And in between that leg, what we can see is we've also got double bottoms here. That would include that there that was being swept. Okay. So we could be coming back down to this area. We understand the high to the low. It's been pretty consolidated throughout this phase. So with that in mind, I'm sort of going to say, yeah, that wick down to that there would be where I'm interested at the moment until we see what the price is, 330 odd pips. So it's quite a distance to be fair. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of bring this in, and I may put this here. See where we are now with pips, 131. So, and the zone itself, so 60 odd pips, right? So I'm going to place this back up to here, guys, because it's the ultimate high end, you know. Down here on the low side, just going to put this into here and see this is the bear zone. I'll put this over to the right. It's obviously going to have to be within this structure here. So if I just do this to this here, and then I'm just going to call that the bull zone. And then again, simple process, download the image. And then we're moving over to the Euro card. Let's frame the price in on here. This is pretty much the same as what the Euro odd was. So it's pretty straightforward. What you can see on the buy side, liquidity here. You've got fair value here. And you've got the top end here. So just going to go with this end here, to be fair, because this is pretty much coming back down into a downtrend. We've swept below this low here, okay? And we haven't quite come above this high. So higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. But we're failing to come across these levels here. So I do think price is going to come back down. The draw on liquidity for me here is this big fair value gap to try to tap into it once before. Okay. What we've got with price at the minute is around about 100 odd pips to there. So I'm going to try and put price at around about this level here. This would become my bull zone. Okay, my bull 4-hour zone. Let's get rid of these liquidity lines as we've understood and framed where price could go to. And this one here would become my bear zone. Okay, so now we reset the whole system. The other ones that are above here at the minute, these have been residing since last week, but we do have our contenders for reset. So we'll download the image. So the next part of this is I'll go and I'll take a look at the levels CAD, GPY, GBP, USD, USD CAD, Euro, ORD, and Euro CAD. I'll come into the Discord, okay, and I'll actually go and reset my zone alerts. So we'll reset these. So that gives us a fresh notification area for through the week. And then we're going to go to the 4 hour zones because that's what's triggered through the week. So again, we're going to start with the CAD JPY. Okay. Now, what I need to do, I need to go into the alerts area and I need to look for a 4 hour buy and a 4 hour sell. Okay. So I'm just going to go into trigger this and I'm going to go into a possible, so that's a possible buy, that's a possible sell. Now, the reason I do this is it'll become apparent in a moment. I need to copy a JSON message. Now, a JSON message is a parameter or a setting. So when it's a bit like when this does this, then you've got to do that, and then it's got to send a message. Okay. So again, I'm coming back over into the CAD JPY. Okay. And I need to go and search for the CAD JPY in the fire zones that I boarded the week before. So again, I go into edit, I get the notation. I'm going to copy that. What I do, I add this into here. Now it's got bull zone, the bull zones, and the bear zones. So I'm coming into here, I'm just going to go at the bottom of the bull zone. I copy that price. I annotate it here. I go to the top of the bull zone. Okay. I annotate this here. I go to the bottom of the bear zone, copy the price, annotate that, and then I go at the top of the bear zone, copy the price, and I annotate that. Okay, so we also come into here, we go to upload the file, and I look for that CAD JPY. Okay, so the CAD JPY, there it is there. That is the new zone set for this week. That's today, 29 minutes past 10. That's correct. We'll add the emojis for the guys to click if they come in and check these. And then what I do, I go up to that CAD JPY, go to the message, we delete it. Okay. Now the second part of this is obviously I need to do alerts for the buy. So again, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to right click, add an alert. Okay. Now I need to go to the euro. Which one's the buy? Which one was the buy? Right, so that was the possible sell. This one was the possible buy. So we're coming in. Okay. And I'm right clicking. I'm coming into the notification. And what I'm doing is I'm copying that. This is called a webhook. So basically what happens is there's going to be a message sent, and that is the JSON message, which is this. And it's a computer code which says when, and this is the CAD JPY, when the CAD JPY possible buy 4 hour, close the bearish candle, then drop to your drop your vertical line. Okay. So again, I'm just going to go here, copy the title of the alert name. So when this goes off, it'll drop this into the Discord. Okay. So this is the notification. We're going to create it. That's the alert set for that one. Okay. I need to also do it for the bear. Okay. So again, I just need to go to this, copy it, paste it. I need to change the Euro GBP to CAD JPY and then also do this bit here as the alert name. Okay. I need to go to the notification, make sure I get the webhook, come into the notification and place the webhook into there, okay, and click create. That's this one completed now. I can then go and put this back up into the area, okay? So we're going to rinse and repeat this, guys. So this time we've got the GBP USD. So again, we just go up, we see where the GBP USD is. Get the notation. Okay. And then what I'm doing is I'm then just simply getting the bull zone, copy its price, post that to there, and we get the top of the bull zone, copy its price, post it there, its bear zone, copy its price, top of the bear zone, copy its price. We then, like I say, go into the file, we look for the GBP USD, and we open that. And then from there, we just add it into the system. This one here, we can delete. And then as we come down, we can just add the emojis onto here. Simple process. Again, we're going to be coming into the buy, so we're just going to go to add an alert. Okay, so the buy alert, we're going to go into here, get that JSON message, copy it into here, change the CAD JPY to GBP USD. Paste that into there, and then also get its webhook. Paste it into there and click create. Okay, and then again, get the webhook on the cell, create the alert. Okay, that's the cell, the message. Copy this into here, change that Euro GBP to GBP USD, and then put the title of that alert into here and save it. Okay, so now we've got the GBP USD. We put this up into here. I'll do one more, and then what I'll do is I'll pause the video for a second. Okay, so again, we've completed that. We're then going to go to the USD card. Okay, we come back over to here. We look for that USD card. We grab its notation from the previous week. And then we're just getting the new fresh zones. We always start with the bull zone, okay, because it's bull zone first. That's the bottom. That's the top. And on the bear zone, we've got that's the bottom. And then that's the top, okay. Come into the other file, we go to upload a file, we look for the USD card, we open that up. We can add that into the system. We can come into this one, delete this one off the system, and then we've got the refreshed one down here. So we'll just add the emojis. Okay, and then what we've got left to do then is the buy and the sell. So we're going to start with the buy. Just going to copy that. So again, we're just going to come into this, and we're going to add the alert, the message. And this is the USD card. This is the buy alert. Okay, again, we have to get the webhook. That's the buy setup, and then obviously we're going to come into the sell, get the webhook. Add the alert notification. That's, oh, I get that wrong. Right, so that's the webhook. We also need to get the message. USD card. Copy, possible sell, create. Okay, so now we've got that. So that's the USD card. I can then push this up to here. We've got two more to set up, so just bear with me. I'll pause the video for these two, and then I'll come back on with an end of day sort of chat. Right, so we're on to the final one, guys. So again, we're going to copy the webhook. We're going to add the alert. We're going to come into the webhook. So that's the final webhook there. The message again is for the sell. It's a euro card we're selling. So we're just going to change this to euro card, and then we need to get the title of the message. And then we just put that in there, and then we save it. So I've already got the euro card set up here. Okay, we've finalized it all. So the next steps from here is I generally go down the whole of the fire zones. So the fire zones, and then the swings, the fire swings, which is the daily, weekly, and monthly. So let's say we've got our two dotted lines for the alerts for to go off. So CAD JPY, yes. Euro odd, yes. Euro card, yes. Euro GBP, yes. Euro USD, yes. GBP odd. We don't have the GBP odd, so I need to come in here again. Tell you what I need. Yeah, I need to do the GBP odd. So if I just come up to here, GBP odd. So GBP odd, and we need it for a possible sell. So again, we just come into here. I'll get that notification with a webhook. Copy that. Add an alert. Notification. I'll put that into here. Get this. Copy that. I'll go to the message. Okay, we'll do that. This is, I don't know why this one's reset itself. It's because late on the Friday, there was a possible sell condition came in, but it was too late in the day for me to get into it. So I just left it. So that'll be that one updated now. Get rid of that. So that's updated. So that's a GBP odd, both areas done. GBP cards, supply and demand, both dotted lines. GBP USD, GBP JPY, the USD card, which we know we've done, the USD JPY. So we've got our areas set there. So now I'm going to go and take it up to the daily, which is my swing areas. Okay, so as we can see here, right, let's take a look. The odd Swiss franc, we've got our bull and bear zones. These, when we go into fire swings, it's 50% of the supply and demand that I go to, rather than just inside of it on the 4 hour. So that's the odd Swiss franc, the GBP NZD. We are just about to touch into this. This may trigger through the week at the start of the session on Sunday night going into Monday. We've got NZD JPY. NZD JPY. Again, this is heading into that. We also have USD Swiss franc. And then we're going to head into the Fire Weekly. Just bear with me, guys. Right, sorry about that, guys. Just the local fruit and veg delivery for us. So that is the swing daily. Okay, we're going to go to the Fire Swing Weekly. Make sure we've got our alert set up on both ends. Odd card we do. Odd USD we do. Chef JPY, I've only got one area simply because this is due to this being an all-time high. Euro NZD, we've got two areas. I'm looking for some good entries this week coming up. We've got some good setups coming. So if you're inside the Discord, we should get some really good triggers this week. If you're watching this and non-supported, you need to get in on the Discord to catch these big double-figure potential growths or profits that we hit. So again, another one that's heading towards a weekly bull zone. So this would be a good fire swing. We've got the odd NZD as we now go into the monthly. This is due to hit a target. This is good to see this. NZD card, NZD USD. And again, when we go into the swings, we're looking for monthly target, weekly target, daily target with a 4-hour entry system. So it's long term. We already have a monthly already in. So again, we go down to 4-hour entry on this. And just to show you, okay, this was the entry. It's already done at 1.02%. The next target is at 2.18. The finalized one is a 4.22, so it's heading towards that. So again, it's a profitable system. But that's the rundown now, guys. And to end us off with the guys that are not supporting and seeing in here, okay, I do have a breakdown area for these fire zones with a welcome area. I have the tools and how you use them and the Fibonacci levels. And if you lose a trade, how do you get in on a losing trade to make it a winner? I've got the full entry model in here with breakdowns, bull and bear zones, how to mark these up. You've seen a little bit of that now, okay? The patterns that we use, I talk over the patterns that we use, the head and shoulder stuff and the patterns in themselves. We also have inside of Discord, we have what you've just seen, what I've made, which is a supply and demand areas, framing our price up and understanding where the liquidity lays. I also have that in the daily zone. I also have that in the weekly. I also have that in the monthly, okay? I also have a fire zone indicator, so you can actually go in and use this indicator and go and do some back testing and annotation, so you can go and see where price is tapped into and then look to utilize these patterns and understand and sort of focus your eyes on what you're looking at. We have our zone alerts. When them alerts come in, you've seen what I've reset. These actually come in here and send off a notification for guys to go and check. And then obviously these are the results area. Okay, so this here, again, that's the 55.61. I did not get the whole amount of that, but I can tell you I got double figures into profits from this. Okay, so that was the potential if you were able to be at the chart at the time of the trigger and the pattern producing itself. But even if you can get a small portion of that, would you be happy? I know I am, because I do it week in, week out. And then obviously I've got a little bit of a homework section in here for people to try and work through, to try and sort of get themselves into the higher time frame stuff, okay? So that is it for this week, okay? So again, I do this on a week-to-week basis. Every Saturday morning, I do a full reset. And then when we go into the trading week, I'm just basically waiting for these areas to be triggered. I will not give my attention to entering a trade unless I get a trigger alert, okay? That means what I can do on a Monday to Friday, I'm still at the computer. I'm still working, but it means I'm developing my things. Like I say, I'm working on ears. I'm coding stuff. I'm putting stuff together. So while I'm doing the working of producing the content or producing these ears or producing the indicators for trading view, okay, it means I can focus on doing that, and not until I get a trigger is then and then only I will actually get in on actively doing an entry. When I do that and I do get the trigger, I do a full breakdown analysis over the shoulder view, like what I've been doing here, and I put this into what I call the daily fire chat. So the supporters can go and take a look at that, and then we can all drop back into the community chat. We can ask questions and give our each of our sort of analysis on top of what I've actually produced. Okay, so that sounds like fun. You know what to do. I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. There'll be links for you to click to get involved. Okay, I'll see you all on the next one, guys. See you later.